Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So the crypto market cap right now sitting at about 179.5 billion. We've got toilet paper token here trading at $1.64. Current circulating supply is out of stock though. A change of 1,123.97%. Bitcoin trading at 6,362, down 1.18%. Ethereum at 133, up 0.49%. And XRP trading at 0.173, up 0.51%. So we're not seeing a lot of movement in the space other than the top token there. And the chart looks very unusual here. Doesn't really look like any of the other charts. I've got Mark Phillips here on Twitter, and he pointed this out. So this with regards to this article here, Treasury eyes new role for top officials as they scramble to implement a $2 million stimulus package. And so the Treasury Department is looking at creating new rules for some of its top officials as they work to rapidly implement the $2 trillion beer flu stimulus law, according to three people with knowledge of the discussions. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin played a central role in helping Congress write the law, and he has made multiple media appearances in recent days pledging to swiftly put it into action. But a number of his top advisors are working behind the scenes to coordinate the rollout, and their roles could be formalized soon. So one of these guys is Justin Muzinich, and he's under serious consideration to serve in a leading role, including helping oversee a nearly $500 billion program that will provide funding for businesses, cities, and states. Muzinich has worked in the past for Morgan Stanley, the EMS Capital hedge fund, and the investment firm Muzinich & Co. He briefly served as an advisor to Jeb Bush before the 2016 presidential campaign. What Mark Phillips points out here, two things that are important. So he led U.S. negotiations on digital taxation with the OECD. Also, he has urged greater federal involvement in the crypto space to manage effects on the monetary base, financial stability, user protection, privacy, and governance. So this guy, very cryptocurrency friendly. Thought I'd bring that up to demonstrate where this is going in the United States in particular, and could this possibly push cryptocurrency regulations further sooner? Obviously, there is an immediate mandate that they must fulfill due to this emergency situation. However, one thing always tends to lead to another, and you never know. I mean, I've seen crazier things. If they can pass bills to stimulate the economy with $2 trillion, why is it so difficult to pass cryptocurrency regulation at the same speed? That's just my question, putting it out there. I saw this tweet from Recamek here on Twitter at Recamek. Anyone here familiar with the bank sweep program called the Extended Sweep Deposit Program? And he's talking about this. Sweep accounts. What is a sweep account? So a sweep account, for those of you guys who do not know, is a bank or brokerage account that automatically transfers amounts that exceed or fall short of a certain level into a higher interest earning investment option at the close of each business day. Commonly, the excess cash is swept into a money market fund. That's the basic premise of one. But his thought is this: looks like they are looking for loose change in people's accounts to give to other banks. Liquidity is needed. All going back to the point that this is a liquidity crisis. There isn't enough money free. Too much money is tied up right now for the government to find the funds, and this is why they have to resort to printing money. So the U.S. government's looking for money, and Recamek saying, any loose change in people's accounts, maybe that's the solution. I highly doubt it. Nevertheless, thought it was an interesting observation. And this from you today. So Ripple's Spring wants to make XRP transactions private. Is this even possible? Ripple's development arm Xpring has come up with a new proposal to add on an opt-in privacy feature to the XRP ledger. It's now up to the community to review the proposal via GitHub. So Warren Paul Anderson, the head of the Xpring developer community, explains that XRP can be made anonymous with the help of what's called blinding tags, okay? That would obfuscate the source and destination tags from anyone apart from the originator and the source of a specific transaction. In such a way, private payments on the XRP ledger would appear random to third parties. And if you think about what this would achieve, it would mean privacy on the XRPL. Now, does your government want you to have private transactions? This is the whole thing about cryptocurrency. We are trying to move away from private coins and trying to move away from private transactions. And this to me is a hint. This to me is a hint as to how big this technology is going to be. Now, private transactions, obviously, if you are Joe Everybody, you're a regular citizen, and you are using your XRP account, you probably will not have privileges to use private transactions, or rather, maybe you will have privileges, but, the oversight of the higher ups will still be able to trace your payments. However, I think these private transactions, or rather, they're developing these private transactions more so for businesses, people who are sending large payments, because they realize that, this is how we're going to be transferring money. And, we don't want little Bobby Hacker over here to be tracing these big payments from company to company or government to company or whatever. So we want to have some kind of measure in place in order to keep something private. Very interesting development there. I saw this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple's Xpring Dev wallet now supports Interledger Protocol ILP Stream, which enables developers to integrate streaming payments into their app using testnet. Here we go, guys. XRP and the Xpring test wallet. So today, the Xpring wallet now supports Interledger Protocol Stream. That's right, I already read that. The streaming transport for the real-time exchange of assets and messages, or Stream, is a transport protocol for ILP like TCP for the internet that makes it easier to develop ILP apps by splitting payments into packets. So this, very, very techie stuff for those of you guys interested in that kind of information. I will leave the link in the description. More developments in the space, which is essentially the point here. But when will XRP price rise? And is this pandemic going to help matters? We're seeing a liquidity crisis. We're thinking, is the New World Order around the corner? There are theories out there suggesting that we are going to see a New World Order. Now, are we not? Of course, I'm always kind of giving you guys the information and letting you think for yourselves about this. There's a lot of information pointing towards the hires up and how they're controlling the system. We're seeing, all kinds of things. The Fed printing money. This is a recipe for collapse. What I want to show you guys now, though, is a release document from Swift saying that they're using DLT. So remember before, a year and a half ago, their GPI thing was essentially their T-model Ford with the Ferrari shell over top. Well, now, this from Matthew Liny on Twitter, and he seems to think Swift is now being forced to go DLT because of XRP. So this is a release from Swift. This is from their website, Distributed Ledger Technology, DLT, progressing technology through industry initiatives. Swift's DLT proof of concept. So our proof of concept was one of the most extensive Hyperledger implementations executed in the industry to date. The path to DLT adoption, discover the opportunities and challenges of DLT in financial services, including key factors for success. So it looks as though now they are going DLT. Latest insights on DLT, Swift GPI and DLT, Swift to bring benefits of GPI to DLT and trade ecosystems. Nostril reconciliation, Swift completes landmark DLT proof of concept. Swift tests show blockchain has potential for global liquidity optimization, so on and so forth. Well, I can tell you, Ripple already proved that a year and a half ago. 22 additional global banks join the Swift GPI blockchain proof of concept. Swift explores blockchain as part of its global payments innovation initiative. Swift on distributed ledger technology. Swift and Accenture outline path to distributed ledger technology adoption within the financial services. Now, some people talking down here about this, I Am Fame says this can't be good for XRP. Lord Lionel says the ISO 20022 is XRP, and it was due this year, but it has been pushed back to 2021, and that was an announcement last week. This is what I find interesting. If you guys remember back to that bearable guy riddle from last year, I think it was 2019. February 2019, so more than a year ago, and it had to do with R3. Either you work with Ripple and use XRP, or you work with R3 and use XRP, and I have a feeling that this is the conundrum that Swift is in right now. They're realizing they have to play ball, and so what are they doing now? Being forced to integrate with DLT because of Ripple. If you go down here, there are a few more people talking about this. Organic FUD said Bob Way talked about this. Binarino brings up to bring benefits of GPI to DLT, which I find kind of funny as well. Smart investors buy when others are scared. This is the right time to buy more crypto, especially Tachyon protocol ahead of the upcoming bull run. That from Really. And Crypto Podcast also brings up this. The key point that I don't know if you guys heard me say, Swift and Accenture. Accenture has Ripple integration already. And boom, here we go. A PDF document from Accenture.com. And this, Accenture and Ripple, the journey to real-time cross-border commercial payments using distributed ledger technology. I will link this in the description. This is not new, but this just goes to show you that Accenture already integrated with Ripple. And so when you read this document and you see Swift on distributed ledger technology, Swift and Accenture outline a path to distributed ledger technology adoption within the financial services. This epitomizes this meme perfectly. You either work with Ripple and use XRP, or you work with Accenture in this case, and you're probably going to be using XRP. Now, Just to cap this off, Otto von Bismarck at Otto Gunner on Twitter posted this. And this from DPS Group. Due to the broad feedback, we now have published our analysis of the effects of the postponement of iOS 20.022, also in English. Key points: a data gap between HVPS and CBRP+, banking strategy, possible inclusion of disruptive solutions like Ripple. They name Ripple in this tweet. And so we heard about the disruption with iOS 20.022. How it is being pushed back. This document does mention this because of the beer flu pandemic, because the world is essentially at a standstill. But read point number 5 here. The payments community also assumes that the delayed introduction of SwiftMX will offer opportunities for disruptive providers such as Ripple, allowing them to position themselves as an alternative. Institutions already relying on such disruptive providers as Ripple, in addition to Swift, should consider to what extent the postponement can be used as an opportunity to integrate the various network in order to create a uniform, functional, and cost-optimized service from the customer's point of view. Today, numerous banking partners of DLT-based payment networks limit themselves to prototypical, isolated solutions that are not integrated into the mass business. Naming Ripple here as a disruptor, and clearly have every reason to do so. So Swift dabbling in DLT, is the writing on the wall? Do you use Ripple to get the full DLT benefits, utilizing XRP? Or now do you go with Swift and Accenture, which essentially has Ripple integration? So chances are you'll be using XRP anyway. Anyway, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.